This is Leicester Till I Die TV. Watch and subscribe on YouTube and listen on your podcast platform.
Hi everybody, Jerry Taggart here. Now be sure to watch Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV by subscribing on YouTube and following them on social media for all the latest Leicester City news and information. Come on, you foxes!
Strap yourself in because we're set up, switched on and ready to go.
Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And it's live.
We are live. Good evening, fellow Fox fans. Apologies for the lateness of my arrival. It's the problem with being a media star. I've just been on TalkSport. Yeah, I wish. Okay. TalkSport radio and then Leicester Till I Die TV. Gary's been ill, hasn't he? Maybe. Just maybe.
Well done to you, and well done to you. I can't believe just how inconsistent you are.
Am I being unfair there? Hey, it was a point. It was a point. Funnily enough, when I was on TalkSport, didn't get asked about the game, which might be a good thing. I don't know. We drew. Leicester City won, Southampton won, and they were down to 10 men after 10 minutes. And I thought, here we go. We're going to do it. Well, wasn't to be. At least we didn't lose. At least we're still in there. It will be interesting to see what my chat chum Brad has to say, and we'll find out in just a minute. Hello. Okay, let's say a few hellos. Hello to Miss Melina. Good evening, Melina. How the devil are you? I'm more late than Arteta with his substitutions. That's fair enough. You can say that. You're the Arsenal fan. Hello, Stefan. I've been better, but we didn't lose, so, it's not too bad. Facebook user here felt like a performance reminiscent of the way at Bournemouth last season. Was it? Well, we didn't get a player set off. We didn't get stuffed 4-1. We were literally throwing everything bar the kitchen sink at them. Facebook user says hello. Don't know who you are because you haven't said. Got one right this week. Is that Steve Lynex? Actually, I'm waiting for him to message me because, do you know what? He did get the score right. And that's the second time this week. And both times he got it with a 1-1. So, Madison shooting very bad. Yeah, he's getting getting closer though, isn't he? Got it closer. So, and Melina, who's helping us out with modding. Good to see you and everyone in the chat. What a snooze fest of a game till Evans' goal with Nacho time. Well, hey, he didn't score, but he provided one, so he still got you some points. Stefan, can we try and keep the talk to football in the chat, please? That would be absolutely fan-dabby-dozy. Well, I'll tell you what, he came... Oh, sorry, nearly forgot to say where you can find us. It's late. I'm past my bedtime. I should be in bed now with me Coco. Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube. Please give us a subscribe. Would love you forever. Facebook, Leicester Till I Die, the group, and in the Twitter sphere at Leicester TID. He calls himself Jesus. He came, he went, and he came back. So it must be the second coming. How are you doing, mate?
I'm doing a little bit better after the calm after the storm of that performance.
Can I ask you, second coming, how does it feel? It's been a long, long time for me.
It's even longer, mate, for me. I'm not saying any more on that matter. Before you start saying that we're not talking on the subject of football, after your line of duty post last time.
Hey, we might be doing a special on that tomorrow night. It's funny you should mention line of duty. No, we will move on.
No, we will move on because I have no interest in the show and I haven't watched anything to not have an interest in it. So I won't be like Craig tonight.
Second coming of Jesus, Brad. Yes, Melina.
That's the name of my book.
Does the beard stay or does it go because it's a draw? I'm not sure which.
It's weird, isn't it? You know, it's a point gained that to any other point of the season, it wouldn't mean either too much because we're only just started, or you'd see it as catchable. But now the games, although you know they've been coming thick and fast, they're also coming to an end. So look, I understand it's frustrating. It's always psychologically for fans. You see your team playing against 10 men, and your instinct is to, expect 3 points from the game and a comfortable victory. And that's not to be a disservice to Southampton, who played brilliantly tonight, because sometimes you get results like that. And in the end, you go and, what's that now? 4 games left of the season. You're going to be looking at least 5 points still ahead of West Ham. So it's not the end of the world, even if West Ham do win at the weekend. It's a valuable point given the things in front.
And, look at, we're ahead of this time last season. This time last season, we'd have probably lost that game, wouldn't we?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't know how someone thought it was reminiscent to the Bournemouth defeat away last season. I mean, it was probably, I think I replied to a tweet from yourself or Melina earlier, where I said it was probably one of our worst performances of the season, and we nicked a point from it. And at the end of the day, sometimes you have to just say, you got to tip your hat to the opposition, because Leicester fans, must remember times where Leicester have had 10 men and won a game or nicked a point when they haven't, when they've been up against it. It was just one of them. At the end of the day, we're on good form. We're on good form. Let's look at it that way in the last 4 or 5 games. So it's not the end of the world. It's just frustrating because we didn't beat 10 men.
It is, but I mean, let's be honest with you. Most of the time, and as I say, I was at the Southampton game last season, and when a team goes down to 10 men that early on, you can struggle to knock them down because they do sit behind the ball. That is the Southampton that should have responded last season. Huthenhelm, or whatever he's called, made a substitution straight away. He changed it around. Everything he didn't do last year time. So, we did literally... I mean, I think we threw the kitchen sink at them. But, once a team goes down to 10 men, they are very, very difficult to break down because they are... there to defend, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. I mean, 95% of the time, a team with 10 men will do exactly what Southampton does. And tonight, the credit for the performance and the effort tonight goes to Southampton, because they defended well. They knew exactly what was in front of them. They knew that Leicester were going to try and come up them and break them down, and they dropped deep. And it was a classic 11 versus 10 in regards to possession and chances created. But, sometimes, I have to say, whether you like it or not, whether you think we should win the game or not with the man advantage, you have to tip your hat to Southampton. Let's not be one of them teams that blames everything but the opposition for not getting 3 points tonight, because they did their job regardless of the effort that was in the final third from Leicester. Just because it wasn't brilliant from us doesn't mean Southampton didn't have a job to do.
Let's be honest with you. Had we had a player sent off, that's the performance we would have been looking for from Leicester.
Yeah, exactly. Would have been soaking up, trying to hit them on a counter attack with a ball over the top for Vardy or Iniacho to run onto, and stick it away. And you know what? The funny thing is, there was something about this game from pretty much the get go. Even when they had 10 men, and when they got that free kick, I was like, the commentator on my stream said, well, Southampton will be looking for more chances like that. And I found myself thinking, they won't need many because in the next 40 seconds, I can see something happening. And lo and behold, it did. So maybe I've got a bit of a psychic brain going tonight.
Yeah, on you've got a brain.
I know, that's the scary part.
I know. Thanks for just reminding me there. No, all joking apart, I mean, we had 23 shots in that game. We weren't not trying, but the fact that Sky's man of the match was a defender and their goalkeeper played out of his skin, in fairness, that kind of, to me, sums it up.
See, I don't know. See, this is where I get to win the argument with stats, because it doesn't reflect the game we saw, though, does it, Chris? In my opinion, yes, we got forward and had a few chances, but how many of them were clear cut? And
there was 9 on target. There was only 9 on target, but
yeah, so
I know
that's already over half.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but for me, yes, I think we did. I mean, watching that game, it literally, we were camped out in the, and I say possession. Let's not worry about possession because, like you say, that can be misleading. But we were literally camped in their half in that second half, and we had players got the shooting boots on, it would have been a different result. I do feel, 23 shots, that does sum the game up. They had 5. I
mean, it sums the game always up in terms of what was expected. If you looked at the stats, you would see 80% to Leicester, 23%, 23 shots.
Yeah.
And you'd be thinking, Southampton must have nicked one. But let's face it, on the basis of chances actually created that worried either keeper, Schmeichel picked one out of his net from a penalty, which was nothing he could do about it. He got as close as he could. It was a brilliant penalty. And I think Vardy, Tielemans, the goal himself, he couldn't do much about. And maybe that one that might have just dipped under the bar from Maddison. Everybody's reaping about McCarthy's performance. He had 3 saves to make, and they were fairly standard. For me as a keeper, I'm probably just as critical on a goalkeeper as in giving praise as I am defending them when they make mistakes. And look, I'm not saying he didn't have a good game. He did make some good saves. I'm not saying he needs to be there and have the brain to make them saves and do well. He did well what he was needed, but I only remember 3 chances. 3 chances outside of the goal, so probably 4 in total. And then, like I said, the goal he couldn't do anything about. From a keeper, with 10 men, he didn't have a lot to do. He just did what he needed to do right.
I will bow to your knowledge as an ex-goalkeeper, shall we say. You've been there, seen it, got the T-shirt. Dead Cheddar, I hope this isn't a cheesy remark. Boom, boom. See what I did there? In my opinion, not a red card. The ball played and cleared first to deny Vardy. If that's a legit card, then what's the point of defenders even bothering? Football is turning into a cake and bottom party. I mean, had it been the other way round, I think I would have been screaming for the penalty, to be honest with you. But to me, he was a young referee. He was a referee that's learning his trade in the Premier League at the moment. And that's no excuse, because at the end of the day, it would have gone to VAR. So whether he gave the red or not, VAR could have overruled him. He didn't. To my mind, I think it possibly was a red, because he could have broken his leg with that. What do you think?
Well, on my stream, apparently John Moss was the aficionado for VAR tonight. I don't know if that was correct, but apparently they actually did look at it. Apparently it did go to Stockley Park and it was looked at. So
I think every red card isn't it? Anyway.
yeah, I think it is just by and by. So I know John Moss likes to be the centre of attention at the best of times, but I can see why fans are grieving it, and some fans are saying it was a fair challenge. I think the red card was given on a dynamic of the situation. He's gave the ball away. He's always going to be coming in hard and fast on whoever he gets, and any sort of contact looks 20 times worse when you're flinging your body for your trying to make up for your own mistake, and that's exactly what he did. At the end of the day, it's unfortunate. I do feel a bit of sympathy for him, but his follow through. You're right. At the end of the day, it's dangerous. It's preventing a goal scoring opportunity. Technically, by the letter of the law, it's a red card. What's the challenge itself? I think if that's in the middle of the pitch, it's a yellow card. I think it's a yellow card because although the follow through was quite reckless and maybe could have done more damage, it was never intended. It's just the way he's reacted and where it is on the pitch that for me, in the end, it is a right decision to be a red card because he stops Vardy going through and scoring.
Exactly, he was the last defender, and it did stop a goal scoring opportunity. Penalty, and I'm not going to go mad at Inacho here because he's a striker in a defender's position, and yes, his hands were up, but it happens. He made up for it with the assist.
Yeah. I mean, 10 weeks ago we might have been on here castrating Kelechi Iheanacho for giving away a penalty and not being on the form here. So that's probably helped him not face too much from the fans. And like you said, he got a very good assist tonight, which has bailed us out in the end. I've
seen Indeedy give away penalties like that.
One. Oh, I remember his handball. I thought he was trying to do Casper's job. It was a lot worse. It's one of them. Sometimes, as much as you try and to keep your hands down, it's just natural instinct. It's not an excuse. It was a poor penalty to give away, but it's one of them things. At the moment, you make that split decision in your brain, and for whatever reason, you throw your hands up because it's natural to try and protect yourself. And it's a penalty. It's a penalty in today's football. He was slightly unnatural. I think the decision was fair. I think if that's Walker Peters in their box, you're getting a penalty from Leicester, and so I don't think we can complain that we got a penalty against us.
No. Let's go through and just catch up with some comments. Stefan, Chris, I was watching the game. I don't know if I put this one up already, but I was thinking City could have a win, but it did not happen. David Gamble was too slow, no pace in the game, and Maddison not match fit. Do you know what? And I can't believe I'm about to say this because I used to be one of the you can only play 90 minutes a week. What, you're supposed to be professional athletes, but we have played so many games just recently. Simply, I'm going to come back to this in a minute. I felt this game was let's do it now. I thought this game was going to be a must-win with your final games. I don't think it's a must-win. Remind me, Simpy, are you a Liverpool fan, I believe? I know it's Liverpool and Man United. I think I said Man United before and annoyed you. I might have got it the wrong way around. To me, that wasn't a must-win. We got a point. We didn't lose. We've got to think we have played 3 games very, very, very close together. We played a Crystal Palace side that hadn't played for 16 games. And we've now played a Southampton side that's not played for like 9 or 10 days. And here we are playing,
simply the Arsenal.
Literally all the time, yeah. It's Arsenal. Well, I tell you what, an Arsenal fan telling us that that was a must-win game. Come on.
All we've done is help them out in the battle for mid-table mediocrity.
Yes. I mean,
we're just being cruel to be kind.
Actually, now, tell you what, just before you actually answer that question, Brad, for Simpy, and listen, I know it was red. I'd got the colour right, but, normally I don't do...
Just on time.
No, it's that time again. Normally I don't put this much of the table up because, it's too far down, but, you have to go that far down to find Arsenal. You know,
Yeah, yeah. It's
you
like
know.
going down a wishing well looking for your wish to come true, isn't it?
I tell you what, my neck is hurting me so much, you know. But no, I don't think it was a must-win game, was it?
No, it certainly wasn't. I'm sorry, I'm intrigued by this clock because it doesn't always go off at this time. Sometimes it does, sometimes it don't. And there's 2 shows now. It's got its own. Sponsored by Grandfather Clock. That's what we're sponsored by over here. There we go. Lovely tune. That's how I make my entrance onto this show now, being Jesus guy. So you have to get used to it. No, it definitely wasn't. It definitely wasn't a must-win game tonight. Even before Crystal Palace, you know, you asked the question, and a lot of Foxes fans said 7 points was the big achieving goal to go out in the next 3 games. And like you said, it's 8 points now, the gap. West Ham still have to win their games. Liverpool play Manchester United. So, you know, one way or another, we're going to gain something from this weekend, despite our result tonight. West Ham might even drop points. So, you know, it could end up being an extra valuable point. If we go to Newcastle next Friday and take all 3 points, I don't think anyone's going to be too bothered. We're going to look at this Southampton game going, well, that's where the point comes from.
Simply, how was the Europa League for you this week, by the way? Asking for a friend. Asking for a friend.
And your former manager.
You know, David Gamble says, "Come on, Brad, we was too slow."
No, you're right. We you know, as much as we've praised Leicester's slightly frustrating on the eye backwards football at times in their patient build up, tonight there was a bit of lack of urgency. I did only feel that to me, the most annoying part tonight, where my frustration boiled over, was it's taken Southampton being down to 10 men for 55 minutes of the game, us conceding a penalty and going a goal behind before the real flow of Leicester breaking through Southampton and causing them much trouble happened. And the one decent chance we had in that, we put in the net. So yeah, there was a case of being too slow tonight, but there was a lot to take into account into this that, you know, like you said, 3 games in the space of a week.
I think it definitely has something to do with that, you know, and, you know, in a couple of weeks' time, we've got Newcastle on the Friday, we've got Man United on the Tuesday, and we've got Chelsea in a small game down at Wembley at the weekend. So we're going to have that problem again. So that's what I put it. That said, and I made this comment, and I can't remember which show it was on, whether it was on the post-match after Palace or the preview show. I think it was the preview show because I think Craig actually agreed with me, which was a shock. But I'm old enough to remember the Liverpool sides of Shankly, Paisley, you know, the 70s, 80s when they were dominating football. And no matter whether they went 1-0 down or it was 0-0, they didn't change their style. They waited, they probed, they passed the ball around. They waited for that moment to come when they could strike. Almost a bit like a snake, if you like, just waiting, keeping an eye on its prey and then pouncing. And, you know, there was never any panic in them. There was never that, you know, and then making a mistake and giving the ball away, whatever. And I feel Leicester are kind of developing that sort of thing. You know, you can say we didn't show any, you know, oomph when we needed it, but of course you'd also say we didn't panic.
No, and that's something that we see a lot of in the way Leicester go about their business. And obviously, whenever you drop points as a team, if it's a team that you follow, you know, one week you're praising the way they're playing, you're happy to see them not looking panicking, you're fine with slow build up because it gets the results and tires them out of them. One week you get a result like this, and all of a sudden it's all boring and sideways passing again. At the end of the day, it's been like this all season, and we're sat 3rd. So it's clearly not that's a problem. It's just sometimes it's football. It's a funny old game, you know. But we've seen the high and low of football in the space of a month, and we've witnessed a lot of joy over the last week or so in unison as fans, and sometimes that takes the stuffing out of you. And I think to come through this uneasy period around from our FA Cup semi-final, where we actually beat Southampton, you know, we've not lost to Southampton this season in 3 attempts. That's something to be noted.
Yeah.
And we've come away with 4 points out of a possible 6 in an FA Cup final. I think the lads, as long as they put it right against Newcastle, I don't think this defeat, sorry, I'll get the result right in the end, mate. This draw, this result will live long in the memory of either sets of fans.
I
End.
mean, you've got to say that, you know, that there was a... Oh, what was I say? There was a lot of incentive there for Southampton. You know, I mean, it was a Friday night, and I know I joke with the, you know, I went onto the Match Day Vlogs, which is the Southampton YouTube channel. They were doing a sort of live watch along, and I said, I'm enjoying watching Sky at the moment because they were re-showing the 9-0. You know, that was on a Friday night. That was at St Mary's, so we're doing that again, and we just knocked them out of the, you know, FA Cup, you know, beat them in the semi-final. That was a massive point for them, not so much the point on the table, but the point they had to prove.
Yeah, definitely it was, and like I said, look, you've got to give a lot of credit to Southampton. You know, form goes right out the window when you're up against it, because we actually, you know, we probably had an end-to-end game stolen from us by that decision in a weird sort of way, because up until that point, you know, we'd already had, you know, I can't remember, was it because Carl Walker-Peters got in behind us, or whoever it was who got in behind us? And granted, he was a yard offside, but he put the ball in the net, and it looked like Southampton were going to go for it tonight until that red card. So, you know, maybe Southampton feel that they deserve something from the game because they're actually going to stand up to Leicester and try and match us for quick attacking free-flowing football. So, look, Ralph Hasenhüttl, despite the run of results, is actually quite a decent manager. I don't think there's many managers out there. Granted, wouldn't lose 2 games 9-0, but there's not many managers that could then pick up a side and keep them behind, you know, giving him support as a manager and standing by him after losing 2 games and pick up their form, you know. And
I did say to the Southampton fan, you know, all credit to the club for not getting rid of him when a lot of clubs would have pressed the, you know, ejector seat. Bookline says there, tired minds, tired legs. To Pep's credit, Man City is always rotating players and will rest superstars. And mate, Bookline, look at the squad. You know, their B team is probably better than our A team. Ricardo, I don't think he's fully fit yet. Otherwise, I think he would have been starting. Perez obviously came on. Chowdhury, I think his time is done, to be honest with you. And I don't think he gives us anything as good as Mendy would give us if Mendy came on for Ndidi. And Pratt, you know, I like Pratt. Yes, you know, again, there's a lot of criticism. There was a lot of. I think there's a. Well, let's have a look, because I mean, it's that. The problem is we've got is in real terms, you've got 3 players going for that one position. You've got Maddison, you've got Perez normally, and you've got Pratt. Now, Maddison, people were having a go at him, really a lot, I've noticed, and I've just had to delete something on the Facebook page, because don't forget, guys, that it is the social media blackout, and at the moment, Leicester Till I Die, after we've finished doing this and I've posted a few things about the game, will not be accepting any posts on Facebook for the rest of the weekend in support of that. And if you do swear on any post at the moment, it just gets deleted. We don't care what. That's how we're dealing with it. So, you know, if you're going to complain about something or have a go at a player, you know, there's no need to drag your knuckles and use that sort of language. You know, hopefully you're better than that. That said, there has been a lot of criticism of Maddison, but he's got to get the game time in, and better he has these performances now, maybe, and gets them out of the way. But Maddison can change a game with one touch. More, I think, so than Perez, you know, more possibly than Pratt. And I think, you know, you've got to give him that time for me.
I don't know. I mean, it was all quick to roll out Perez, who, granted, to me, You know what? I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it for the second time in the space of 2 games. Came on and actually improved our chances in the attacking sense and made us have a bit more of a bite about going forward. I'm not all for this given time. At the end of the day, he's one of them players that did the silly breach of the COVID regulations. He's been off the boil. Pratt's very well liked by the Leicester fans. He's very well admired as a player. He's got great talent. I'm scratching my head how tonight. Obviously, I know Perez probably would have come off Maddison had it not been for a tactical change, to rest Fofana, who's fasting, and switch into a back four. But I don't understand how Maddison stayed on the pitch tonight, because out of the 23 shots, he probably had 13 of them, and I don't think any one of them kept within the stratosphere of the St Mary's ground. I would much rather have Pratt come on for the last 10, 15 minutes, because he's got quality in him and offers a lot to his club. I do feel sorry for Pratt. I think he's very unutilised, and I know he's had injuries that haven't helped that, but I think he goes a lot more unutilised than someone who's had many a chance and not taken them.
I agree with you, because I'm a fan of Pratt's, and I think it's unfortunate that he got those 3 players kind of clashing. A lot of people are saying here that should there have been more changes? Do you go with the rule of if it's not broken, don't fix it, which is what I said in the pre-match, and the fact that we can actually name an unchanged side for the 3rd game in a row, I think that's the first time this season. Or do you make the changes because we are playing 3 games so quickly? Brendan's buggered if he does, buggered if he doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. You're 100% spot on. Because at the end of the day, it's easy to sit here and go, oh, well, he should have changed it. He should have put Albright, and he should have started with this guy. He should have started with Pratt. He should have started. Maddison should have been on the bench. Perez should have started. But whatever you want, it's easy to do that because the game's 1-1. But had they gone out with the strong team like they did and got themselves 2-0 in front against 10 men and then made them changes, no one would be batting an eyelid. At the end of the day, they've got a 7-day break. They've been playing games close proximity to each other all season. So it's not like you can lay the blame at that these guys haven't been used to this all season. Even after we got knocked out of Europa League, the games have been thick and fast. So it's not even like we've had the usual break from not being in an extra competition, because we've gone all the way in the FA Cup. We got out of the group stages of Europa League. So we've been used to this all season. So I don't like that being used as too much of an excuse. I just think it's one of them games where we've kind of been caught with a mixture of players coming back and just not being at the races. Southampton put a resolute 10-man behind the ball job, and they did a good job of it. It's all well and good saying, well, we should have made more changes. Well, had we made more changes, maybe Vardy doesn't get brought down. Maybe we don't go to 10-0, and maybe we lose the game 3-0. You'd all be on here moaning. Brendan is just doing the best he can for this club. And you know what? I'll say it now. If we end up staying up in the top 4 by a point, I'm bringing it to this game just to put it in perspective. Because sometimes you've got to take what you can in football, and sometimes when you're not playing well and you're not having the best of the game as a collective unit, you have to take the positives. And the positive is we didn't lose a game. That would have been a lot more embarrassing had we lost that tonight.
Yes, it would. I mean, the funny thing was that I was on, like I say, Talk Sport, which was why we were late starting tonight. And they were asking me a lot about Brendan Rodgers. And, it's very easy for us to look at this because we look at it at a game at a time. But, we're a point better off than we were this time last season. We're in the final of an FA Cup. We are almost... I mean, this is the most upbeat I've been after a draw, because I decided before we came on the show tonight that it wasn't the end of the world, and we're not going to win. We're 3rd, but it doesn't mean we're going to win every game, does it?
No, it doesn't. I mean, if anything shows how bizarre and weird and wonderful this league can be, 3 games ago, when we lost to West Ham, we looked at the league table and went, well, it's definitely third we're fighting for, because Manchester United are way too gone. We've got to hope things go our way. And here we are 3 or 4 games later, and we're coming away from St Mary's going, all right, disappointed we didn't manage to get maximum points playing against 10 men. But like I said, we're at a point in the season now where even if it's playing a game more, have an 7 or 8 point lead in a pivotal chase, whether it's for a title, Champions League, promotion, whatever league you're in. If you've got a 7 or 8 point gap at this point of the season where games are running out, a point's not too bad. A point's actually worth double, as the saying is. You know, when you say it's a 6-pointer for a relegation battle, well, at this point of the season, 1's worth 2 in this, because that now means that West Ham have to win their game and then still have to make up the 5 points difference if they're to stop us getting, top 4. And I still don't see it.
No, and I mean, I would love to finish second probably more than Man United would, because yes, we get extra money, of course we do, by finishing in a position higher. But Man United, they can finish second, a lot of seasons. Where with us, it would be quite something to finish second, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would, and it would kind of be a little bit of a nice little smug end to the season to finish above the side that ultimately knocked us out of Champions League. Not that it did much with it, although they might win a Europa League Cup out of it by the looks of things, to be fair to them. But they didn't take your Champions League spot that they stole from us. And, well, we kind of gift wrapped it as well. But,
yes,
they didn't do much with it. And, yeah, it'd be nice, wouldn't it? It'd be nice, because Leicester's only one and only top 4 finish was when we won the league. So it'd be nice to have one where it's a fairly comfortable 2nd or 3rd place finish.
Oh, I can take you back, actually, because if we go way back to before you were a twinkle in your dad's pocket, I think we did come second when we were called the Snow Kings, I believe.
Yes,
yes, we have finished second before, but it would be nice. But I think it's. I mean, Craig. Good evening, Craig. Thanks for joining us there. Every other team has had dodgy results recently, so we're probably due one. I think we got out of jail with Crystal Palace. That we didn't lose. We've got to just say, guys, we didn't lose.
Yeah, we didn't lose, and that's one thing you have to hold on to when it's a performance like that, and then things haven't gone quite the way you expected. But at the end of the day, like I said, if we go to Newcastle, if Newcastle come to the King Power on next Friday, and we pick up 3 points, we wanted 7 points from these games, and if you go and get beat Newcastle, you were expected, despite what happened on the pitch and in regards to the red card. Crystal Palace, Southampton, Newcastle, you was probably expecting tonight to be the tough one where we probably get a point, and if we're lucky, maybe all 3. And we've got one of them results. We before the ball was kicked, we was probably going to say that this would be typical Leicester to get a point from this and beat Newcastle. And before the red card and the ball was kicked, a lot of fans would have been happy with a point away from home.
Indeed. Sorry, you stopped early then. You confused me. I
know. I feel like I'm trying to build the void of Julian Watts to be able to help you have a shorter answer.
No, he was on earlier. You missed him. I mean, let's have a look at what we've got coming up here. We've got Newcastle at home, Man United away, Chelsea. A little matter of I'd say this game at Wembley that we've got coming up, and then we've got another Chelsea game and a Tottenham game. I mean, if I'm totally honest with you, I was very worried, and I said to Julian in the pre-match show, I was actually nervous about tonight because of, as I say, I think Southampton had the points to prove with the 9-0 and the FA Cup, etc. And I was very nervous. I don't actually feel I mean, I think Man United, Spurs, Chelsea, we've beaten them all this season. And I think sometimes we're building this up. They should be as worried about us as we are about them.
Yeah, they definitely should. I mean, people might say, "Oh, we're only a point better off last season," but we're not. We're not just that. We're mentally in a better position. We've ground out and won a lot of games and got points from a lot of games this season. That we've already noted that last season we would have lost or drawn them games. So I feel very confident and positive going into the last games. And genuinely, you look at our results against them teams, not just this season, but over the last few seasons, where we've managed to pick up a few wins and draws against Chelsea. We're quite, very back and forth between us and Spurs. We probably had the better rub of the green over the last couple of seasons. Chelsea, we can beat on a day. Manchester United, it's probably the most difficult game we've got left, and that's purely because it's Old Trafford. At Filbert Street, we've managed to get a couple of wins and a point here and there. So I just, again, it goes back to the point. It's all well and good someone saying, "Oh, you might only have a 5-point lead going into them games," but that means West Ham have to get a minimum of 6 points out of their last 3 games, and everybody's dropping points a lot more. Teams below us are dropping their points more consistently than we are. We're probably we are on paper the third most consistent side in the Premier League and have been all season, and that's not changed in the run of results. I just don't see how over the course of the last 4 games of the season, we don't pick up points from the likes of Tottenham. I mean, 7th place Tottenham, a whopping 10 points off us. I just don't see how they're considered a team that we won't get some form of result out of. And I just feel as long as our 3 points against Newcastle arrives, I just don't see how we don't pick up 3 points along the way in our last 3 games. I almost feel like this was a big opportunity to put that final nail in the coffin to rule out any potential collapse of top 4. And tonight we just give it a little tap. We didn't quite have the force behind it to really whack that last nail into it, but we put ourselves in a position that should things go our way over the weekend, it's all but confirmed before we kick a ball again on Friday.
I'm just looking at West Ham's fixtures coming up here. They've got to play Burnley on Monday night. That's not going to be an easy game.
Thrashed Wolves 4-0.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing as well. Just to quickly add to it, and I mean quick, for me, this is quick. We're now 8 points clear. If Burnley do something against West Ham, whether it's a draw or even better, beat them, Leicester could secure top 4, I believe. Could they not, by beating Newcastle without West Ham kicking the ball, because we'd go so far ahead of them?
You wanted me to do maths at 11:22 in the evening.
Well, I believe if we go on to 10 points and they fail to win their game, that they won't be able to catch us with 3 to go. So next week could also be an end to it, and we actually go into them 3 games with nothing to play for apart from maybe chasing down Manchester United in the final. So we'll see. Maybe by this time next week we'll be talking about how we can focus our whole attention on the FA Cup. It could be a completely different subject matter next week.
They've also got Everton, Brighton,
not an easy game,
and Southampton, believe it or not, on the last day.
Yeah, and whilst it sounds unlikely, Sam Allardyce will always take a ship down fighting, so you don't know what West Brom's situation's been there. That they have stayed up against all odds before. We all remember the season they stayed up against all odds when Brian Robson was the manager, wasn't it? Was it Brian Robson? Or am I thinking of the wrong one? I got the wrong one.
Who knows?
But so Sam Allardyce has never got relegated, so they might still have something to play for. Everton's not going to be easy. Their squad's. I just think that our runs are so similar in terms of quality and potential to cause upset. that they're just not going to make up the ground over 4 games. So I'm with you. I'm quite positive with the point. Just a bit frustrated we couldn't get the 3 against 10 men.
Yes. Changes my feelings towards Man United Liverpool. I'm going to actually watch that game. I'm going to get a takeaway, get a beer and watch it. And I was kind of torn because had we beaten Southampton tonight, I wouldn't have been upset with the Liverpool win because it would have pulled us as a closer to Man United for second. But now I really do want a Man United win.
I mean, it'd be nice, wouldn't it? I think it's more advantageous from a Leicester perspective to have Manchester United win that game rather than Liverpool. But for me, I just don't think I've not really thought past West Ham for any worry of a team catching us because, again, even though Liverpool have slowly balanced out with their results in the last couple of games, they did their damage over that daunting period where they didn't win at home for like 6 games, and I think their damage was already done, and they've not suddenly ripped into unstoppable form. They've still been a bit jittery. They threw away a lead in stoppage time against Newcastle. So, although I wouldn't be overly concerned with Liverpool winning, I just think if you look at our situation, to completely draw a line under 6th place and below in regards to Leicester's top 4 ambitions, I think anything other than Liverpool win completely nails them out of it for me. So, like I said, I'm not overly bothered, but if I had to pick, I would agree with you and say a Man United win favours us more.
Craig, if you want to come on, I'm putting the link in there because Melina has asked an excellent question there. I got that stuck in my throat. An Arsenal fan asking a sensible question.
Hello, right?
Oh, let me have a drink of water, please. Yeah.
Well, she does support Real Madrid as well, so maybe she's got, I don't know, maybe that's Spanish sense coming through as well. I don't know.
She's asking with the remaining fixtures. Have a think about this because I've just done what I think we'll get. We've got 4 league games left now, like you say. The remaining fixtures you guys have left, how many points do you think that you can secure? We're going to come back to that one, Melina. Yeah. Have a think about it because we've got Man United, we've got Newcastle at home, Man United away. We've now got Chelsea the Wednesday after we play them in the FA Cup. And then we've got Spurs on the Sunday. Let me ask you this, though, Brad. Okay. We've got Chelsea FA Cup 15th of May. Chelsea away in the league Wednesday, the 19th of May. Would you give the cup final up, winning the cup final, to secure 3 points against them in the league?
Not a chance. Not a chance, because I think this team will have top 4 wrapped up or all but nailed on before the FA Cup final. I honestly do. Honestly, Chris, I do. I'm not favourable of these. Which one would you take scenarios at the best time? I honestly would not give up the chance to win the FA Cup over 3 points on Saturday. That's crazy, because I just don't see Leicester not getting enough points, and I will stand by that until the apocalypse happens and I get proven wrong.
Yes. I would have agreed totally with that. I just wondered what your thought. I just want to say, so I'm going to bring Craig in 1 second, but I just wanted to say, Stefan, you need to keep the chat to football related. You've over the time that I've known you, you have made some strange posts. You've been a bit creepy at times. I'm going to have to be honest with you. And you've put some disturbing posts up. That I've just put you in a timeout, but that is going to be your last chance, mate. Next time it will be a ban. I'm just seeing your thing Brad, and yes, he has been. He's on a timeout now, but his next time it will be a ban. Sorry, Stefan, if you've got your problems. We've all got problems. This is not a self-help group. This is a football group. Although being Leicester fans, of course, it could always end up into a self-help group. Right, let's bring the wise old owl in. Or is it a wise old sage, I should say, shouldn't I? Good evening, Craig.
Good evening, guys. How you doing?
Evening, mate. Evening.
Giving you guys a chance to think then. So I think from the remaining, we've got 4 games. So that's 12 points that we could obviously potentially get. I've got us down as 8 points from that. I think you had us down as 6, Craig. But I'll give you my 8 first, then we'll come to Craig, then we'll come to Brad, giving Brad thinking time because he's been kind of dropped in this a little bit. Newcastle at home, I would want to see 3 points there, to be honest with you. I think we can secure 3 points there. Newcastle, they've got to still go for it because of where they are, and I think that could leave them open. United away, I'd take a point. I would take a point at this stage. We then win the FA Cup in the middle of it, of course, and then we play Chelsea away. Depending on the cup result, I'd probably take a point there. And then I think we'll get 3 points at home to Spurs. That's where my 8 points come from. I think you said 6, didn't you, Craig?
Yeah, I've gone with 6. I think, we've got to be targeting 3 against Newcastle. But then I think I'd take points in the remaining 3 games, to be honest. And you've got to think that if we take a point from Chelsea, it's really 3 in the running against them because it's 2 that they've dropped. So I'd take, I think 6 points would be enough. I thought if we got 12 out of these 4 games, it would be enough. Another 6 out of the last 4 is like 1 ahead of that. So I think 6 would see us over the line.
Scott, what am I saying? Sorry. I was just reading Scott's comment there. 7 points. Melina, I can go off people, and if you're asking for anybody to talk sense into me, these 2 characters, I tell you what, it's like working with Tweedledee and Tweedledum. I'll tell you, it's coming from Canada, you won't know the Chuckle Brothers, but I tell you, this is what I have
worry,
to.
Me and Craig are firing our HR reports against your strenuous work ethics, mate.
Well,
do you know who the HR reports come through to, though, mate?
Oh, damn it! That's the trick. Quite quick, written email.
I am it. Secretary, HR, T Brewer, Brad. So I've gone for 8. 6 has gone for Craig. Craig, so you had where were those 6 points coming from?
3 against Newcastle, and then I'd take 3 draws in the last 3.
Right. Okay, so Brad.
This is going to sound weird, being as I've said, I think we've done enough this season to get enough points from the remaining games. So I'm gonna say, whilst I think we can get 8 points, I honestly think we'll end up getting about 5. I think we will beat Newcastle. I don't think either Leicester or Manchester United will want to lose the game. I think it'll be an entertaining game, but I think we'll pick up a point against them. I think we'll throw all our eggs at that point. I think top 4 will be safe. So we will go full ham for our FA Cup final. And then I think we might allow players to enjoy a bit of an earlier head on the beach, so to speak, by rotating. I
wondered where that was going. I really wondered where that was going.
Yeah, I had to rethink that sentence through quickly.
Yes. Thank God you did.
But I think they'll be allowed to rest, so to speak, and we'll see a flux of rotation for the last 2 games of the season. And just because it's Spurs, I think we will probably nick a 3 points. But to say to move us and get 5, I'll say we'll get a draw against Spurs last game of the season.
And nothing against Chelsea?
No, I think if we humiliate them in the FA Cup final, that we'll give them the the fourth place trophy.
That's 7 points then, Brad.
Well, no,
Chris.
beating Chelsea in the cup, losing to them in the league, a draw,
He said 3 against Newcastle.
a draw against Man U, and a draw against Tottenham.
Oh, draw against Tottenham. I thought you said you're going to have 3.
No, I think we could do it because it's Spurs, but I think we'd be happy at that point just to let a few players through and pick up a point from that.
Scott, the voice of sense and sensibility and short answers, is going to be posting his 7 points up in a minute. We haven't even touched, and let's touch on it now. Johnny Evans, because you two, in fairness, haven't been his biggest fans of late. I'm looking at you, Craig, especially. And yet, 2 goals in 2 games.
Yeah, well, it's 2 in 3. Let's not,
Well,
let's not big him up too much.
Yeah, there's a game in the middle, but it still was in 2 games.
Oh, come on, Craig. He scores when he wants, Johnny Evans.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he scored. Well done. I appreciate it. And but I mean, for me, he was frustrating again. I mean, Brendan clearly brought Mark Albrighton on for a reason, for us to try and get the ball to him quickly. And Johnny, for some reason, I don't know if he's not on his Christmas card list, but he seemed to refuse to play the ball out wide to him and just kept coming inside. So, yeah, I appreciate every goal he scores, and obviously it was a clearly really important one, but he still frustrates the hell out of me.
Well, yes. I mean, we all have our players. I did actually have to say on Talk Sport that my size isn't due to just having lockdown. It's due to all the humble pie I've had to eat over Kelechi Iheanacho. And I haven't eaten any humble pie over Perez at all because will it go, Brad? Are we seeing the demise of Perez? I think, to be honest with you, he's a Pearson. Oh God, that was a Freudian slip. I think he was a what's what I'm looking for? Brendan Rodgers' favourite. He's the Junior Lewis of his day. And I'm not saying he's as bad as Junior Lewis. Even Craig wasn't as bad as Junior Lewis. But I do think that I don't think he'll go.
It's a difficult one, isn't it? Because we all probably think that unless something happens over the summer, we're probably going to lose 1 or 2 players. There's squad rotating players. I think the one big thing to look at is the reaction from some of the players when they've been linked to clubs has been well perceived. So I don't think we'll lose anyone of key first team status, ability, which is always nice considering in the last few years, as much as it's nice to have turned a hefty profit, it's probably been a bit concerning to see us sell a star player every season. I think Perez's return, my comments and our comments throughout the year about Perez have been very justified because, yes, I know early in the show I said he came on and actually gave us more attack intent. He still managed to fall over and lose the ball twice in doing so. He's not really done much.
His first 2 touches, he gave the ball away, I think, when I was watching it. But
yeah,
like you say, at the end of the day, who are we to argue with the manager?
Well, that's very true, isn't it? Every time anyone seems to dare question Brendan's tactics or his formation lineups, we tend to end up eating a big slice of humble pie, don't we? Because we end up pulling the result out of our rear as it is. So
I must admit, I did go from, because I have a history of getting everything wrong when it comes to football predictions, and I did go up and go, could you see Leicester scoring? Hashtag reverse psychology, and about 5 minutes later they scored with a penalty, so that didn't work either. Great. In the summer, do we sell to buy, or we know we're going to struggle with money. We touched on this earlier with Brad, but we're being linked with £40 million players and what have you. But if Tommy Abraham was to come off. But have we got that money? Our owners, they've got the training ground to play for. That their business is totally tourism. That's all it is, and that is on its knees. As well run as they are, we might have to rely on the likes of the Dewsbury Halls and the James Justins and the Luke Thomas. Not that they haven't proved themselves, but do you think we're going to see any big signings in the summer?
I think we'll make at least one, if not two, to be honest. Regards losing players, I'm not sure if anyone. Earlier in the season, I thought if anyone was going to go, it would probably be Ricardo, because I thought we'd got cover there. Obviously, we got James Justin got injured, but adequate replacement, and Castagna plays on the right hand side, and we're already being linked with a left back. So I wonder whether Brendan sees Castagna as a more regular right-sided player, who then releases Ricardo. I think it's been interesting that Ricardo's not got a minute on the pitch in the last couple of games. If he's fit enough to make the bench, I would have thought he would have brought a bit more pace and physicality than Albrighton did. But the fact that Ricardo's not got anywhere near is a little bit concerning for me. So whether he is fully fit or whether he's just starting to think maybe he doesn't fit in his plans, I'm not sure. But if you've got to sacrifice one, then you would sacrifice someone where you've got decent cover already.
Yeah. This is Leicester Till I Die TV. Back after this.
Leicester Till I Die TV. Your first choice for everything Leicester City. Tune in and join in now.
It's getting late. Bradley's rubbing his eyes. He's getting ready to. It's the wrong time of year to be buried again, isn't it? But let's quickly have a look, and we are coming towards the end now. You will be pleased to know. Man of the match and team and manager ratings got a little bit feisty this week. Normally we've been agreeing a lot with what Alan's been doing, and this caused a little bit of a ruckus. He's gone for Johnny Evans, and he's gone for 6 for the manager and 6 for the team. Let's start with Craig. Agree, disagree? What would you have done?
Yeah, he's probably not far off. I'd probably nudge them up a point. I wasn't a big fan of the substitutions that Brendan made. I know it's easy to say you don't need 3 centre halves, but essentially you go from having 2 wide players, wing backs pushing right up the pitch with 3 at the back, to having a back 4. So I'm not sure whether that actually helped us. We looked pretty comfortable, and it allowed the wider players to get forward. And again, I'd have thought under would have been a better bet than Albrighton. Just lumping balls in the box. Not that we got the ball to Albrighton anyway, but I thought under would, with his tricky feet, may have brought some fouls and would have been more difficult for them to deal with than Albrighton. So I'm not sure on his substitutions there, but I'd give them a 7 each maybe, but 6 and 6 isn't far off the mark.
And Evans.
Yeah, possibly. I thought Castagna played okay, to be honest. Beyond that, I thought everybody was just off the pace a little bit tonight. So I couldn't argue against Evans.
Brad?
Yeah, I'm pretty much in the same boat as Craig with his opinions on that. Unfortunately for me, I think it's unfortunately plain for me to see. I feel that the reports over the last couple of months, when the question was asked to Brendan about under, and the report suggesting that Leicester don't want to make this permanent, that I feel unfortunately under's just making the numbers up on the bench, because I just don't. We've questioned it a few times. Don't understand how someone who you're saying, oh well, he's not getting game time, he's not match fit, he's been here all season. If he's not been playing at this point, I just don't think he's going to be required. I think he's been a little bit unfortunate in the sense that because Harvey Barnes has been missing for the majority of this season, that's obviously meant that Leicester haven't gone with left and right wingers as we were doing for the best part of this season. So he's not really got his position available to him to come in and impact the game the way he'd like to.
And I think right at the start of the season as well, that you had Albrighton, who came from nowhere and was suddenly starting playing great in there. I think, Under's been on the bench for the last 3 games, hasn't made it on, like people were saying before, when there's 3 games so close. I think, to be honest with you, I think it's Under and out.
Yes, I think it will
See
be.
what I did there? See
I
what
like
I did?
it.
Yeah. Honestly, tough crowd.
The man of the match is a difficult one, though, because to be honest with you, I think if we're being brutally honest, the overall man of the match award should go to a Southampton player. But from a Leicester perspective,
we don't do that, though, Brad.
Yeah, but because we're not nice like that, and we like to put our glasses on and give all things foxes, I think it has to be fair and say that. Despite the fact that he still frustrates myself at times with things that he does, Evans has provided the saving grace in the end tonight. It wasn't a brilliant performance by the 11. He just had the pivotal moment that stood out to everybody's mind. So I think Alan's probably done a fair job with his man of the match and ratings, to be fair.
And that was a short answer there from Brad.
I know, right? The long answer. Check out the podcast. I go longer than Rich Sports on an answer.
Podcast, I couldn't afford to have it running for that long, I tell you.
£35 an hour, let alone for the month.
Yeah, I think that's why you talk like that. You think I'm paying you by the hour. I'm just not paying you. And just to say, with the man of the match, that it is actually the Leicester man of the match. That's the whole idea behind it. We don't give a sod about the rest of the the other team. It's which Leicester player. Scott, I mean, Gazelle. I forget we've still got Gazelle. He's only out on loan. Benteke is even obviously he's out on loan as well. We're not going to get much for them, in fairness. David S. And let's kind of just round it down now with this comment. In what ways do you think Castagna is better than a fully fit Pierre on the right? Seems we need more cover, so hold on to both. Oh, yeah, I don't think anybody was saying get rid of them because, next year we've got, the Premier League, the League Cup, the FA Cup, the, Champions League, hopefully. Like you say, you can have one player. I mean, I think, tell me if I'm wrong, guys, you can have Castagna at right back or in that role, Pierre at right midfield, wing back, and they can interchange beautifully.
Yeah, I think we've talked about that happening earlier in the season before Ricardo got injured, to be honest.
You did in one of your team selections, Craig.
Yeah, I did. Another one that Brendan didn't listen to. But again, that's why I was a little bit surprised that he didn't make it on tonight. Usually he's got quick, good feet around the box, which I think is what we needed against Southampton when they were sitting in that low block. I just didn't see what Albrighton was going to give us there. I thought you needed a little bit of pace. People would play quick 1-2s around the box, and we know that Ricardo, when he's played in a more advanced position, can do that. So no, I wasn't suggesting that we get rid of him. I was just looking at if we needed to sacrifice, that may be where they look.
Me thinks he may be being saved for the bigger games. Who knows? Before we go, I have got to give a shout out to Steve Linux. For the second time in the whole, I think we should have a round of applause because he's got the score prediction right for just the second time in the whole season. Steve, I don't know if you're watching. Oh, it was you that was on earlier. I'm impressed. The thing was, you went 1-1 last time. Well, that was when you got it right before. So 2 right in the season. Well done, mate. I have to tell you, though, I think you're still going down, because I think where you are in the prediction league, I don't think you'll be saving up. That point won't save you. That point won't save you. I have got to say thank you, gentlemen. And I need to just get rid of this. Craig for popping on at the end there. Jesus for his second coming. I just hope he cleans up the mess afterwards. And we will be back next Friday. So what have we got next week? We're going to have the football match, the football preview on Tuesday. We're going to have the opposition view on Wednesday, the game preview with the wise old sage Craig himself on Thursday, and Brad will be here holding up the eyelashes with the matchsticks probably the same time next week after Newcastle. Let's hope it's a 3-pointer, not a 1-pointer. Craig, Brad, thank you very much. As always, you make the show look half intelligent.
Cheers, guys.
You're welcome. Cheers.
Thank you. Take care. Brad and Craig there, who they make me look, like I say, half credible, and I tell you what, that's not an easy job. Not an easy job. Right, see you next Friday, Melina. Great show as always, Scott. Thank you very much for saying that. No, David Knight, everybody. Thanks for sharing. Great to have you on, David. 10-15 minutes be one of the last things I do for the weekend, but if you want to listen to this back again, you can watch it on YouTube. And please give us a subscribe, press that subscribe button, and let's just see if we can make the 500 by the end of the season. It would be great to have you along and join us. If you want to listen to this while you're having your second coming, if you're Brad, or you're doing the washing up, or you're washing the car, listen to us on your favorite podcast platform: Anchor, Google, Amazon Music, Apple iTunes, Spotify, and Podcast Addict. Going to leave you on a serious note now. I did touch on it earlier, but I want to bring it up again, if that's okay with you guys. And that is about this media, social media ban that the players and the clubs are all doing. I was sat there. I'd forgotten. I was sat there on Twitter and waiting for the team to come up. And of course, the footballers and the clubs stopped it at 3. I wasn't sure where I was going to go with this, because I'm a provider of a service rather than a user, if you like, as in one of the players. But that said, after the game the other week, for the first 20 minutes, I had to read, or the first 15 minutes, I think it was, I had to take nearly 20 posts down because people in the group swore. Now, I know we're football groups, I know we're banter, but we're not Neanderthal men. But I do believe some fans still think we are. I think they can hide behind the keyboard and they can't make a comment without using the F word. I mean, it's not big, it's not clever, and to be quite honest with you, it is just insulting and abuse to the people that have started the thread. I had this note that Facebook have started to actually go over people's heads more, group admins more. And if Facebook take one of your posts out for whatever reason, or whether I believe it or they've misunderstood it, that is an automatic mute from me for anything from 12 hours to 72 hours, depending on the severity of it. I don't care whether I agree with you or not. If Facebook have done that, you're gone. What we're doing at the moment is, if you put the F word, we have about 30. We have about 30 words that are on the list that we don't allow to be used, or we look, we are notified, they come up and we look at in what context they are used. Those will automatically, whether they're a joke or whatever, then automatically the posts will get deleted, because we just don't allow these swear words now. You can use stars, you can use exclamation marks, you do not have to use the swear words. So as Leicester till I die, we are banning the use of swear words for the foreseeable future. You know, you intelligent people out there, you should be able to post without having to resort to using those words. You know, we did that when we were kids. Oh, we used the swear word. Oh, aren't I clever? No, you're not. You're not clever at all. You know, go off and drag your heels along your knuckles along the floor. Also, for the next 2 days, we will not be responding to any messages on the Leicester Till I Die sites, the Facebook or the Twitter. If you post, whatever the post is, it will get deleted. It's simple as that. We will not, if you know, we can't stop you posting on any of the threads that are already up. That is, you have to marry that up with your own conscience. What we will be doing though is, if any of those posts include any swear words or nastiness, etc., bans and removals will be dished out. No new post will be allowed. If a new post comes on, it will simply be deleted. End of story. Same with Twitter. There'll be no retweets, no posts. We'll be back on Monday. So, you know, sometime on Monday, you will see us come back up live and you'll see we're back up and working. We need to, whether you agree with everything that's gone on, and, you know, there's arguments for supporting it, there's arguments for the fact that it's gone too far. We are not political, racist, or anything like that in our group, because it just starts arguments off. I won't allow discussions about Black Lives Matter or racism, because it will start an argument off. So it's easy to just not allow it, anything at all. And that's what I said to The Athletic. I did a written up piece that was published in The Athletic, and I said I just don't allow it. That way there can be no arguments over it. There's a new set that I've reworded the rules. You can find the rules on www.leicestertillidie.com /about us. Or on the Facebook group, it's down the right-hand side. The rules are there. Somebody had to go at me earlier because I didn't allow his posts. Well, grow up. You know, if there's 30 posts and 5 of them are the same, of those 5, only one's going to get on. We're not going to flood the group with posts. And if you don't agree with the post, don't have a go at the guy that's put the post up. Don't have a go at where it's come from, whether that's the sun or the sky, whoever. Put your brain into gear and use it. There is too much abuse. There is too much keyboard warriors. You know, whether we're players, whether we're fans, we support Leicester. We are a multicultural city. We are a multicultural team, and we should reflect that. I hope we do here on Leicester Till I Die. I won't stand for any of that, and it's not discussable. That's the line. You cross it, you're gone. We need to stand up. This, I think, may be the start of change. Players going about their business should not, you know, they should not be subject to this at all. Whether, you know, we're one of the big clubs now. It doesn't seem to happen as much for us, but if it did, I'd be disgusted. I would be disgusted. But we still get bad language. We still get people calling each other names. And it just despairs me. Guys, that was my rant. Have a really, really, really good weekend. Have a read of these. These are the messages coming out from the clubs. Social media companies must do more to stop online abuse. It's all over the internet. You can read that wherever you want. Read it at your will. I will be back on Tuesday. I will be back on Tuesday for the football show with Josh. Have yourself a good weekend. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to the old rant there. But some things I think you do need to rant on about. And we will be back on Tuesday at 7 with the football show. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a good weekend. Stay safe now.
Leicester Till I Die TV. Your first choice for everything Leicester City. Tune in and join in now.
Hello, Matt Elliott here. Be sure to watch Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube and follow all their social media platforms for all the latest updates and news on Leicester City Football Club.
Thanks for watching Leicester Till I Die. This is Chris saying goodbye and see you next time.
Some people are on the pitch, they think it's all over. It is now.